Guys, I'm just chilling in my car because it's kind of a gray day and I think this is the best lighting, to be honest. So I was just gonna do a video real quick, maybe not real quick, but I was gonna do a video of emotions, talking about emotions and what you can expect in the beginning or even during, or let's just say this video is going to be about emotions in general related to your teeth and having teeth extracted, I guess you could say. Not even like it's not even just when you have dentures or when you're getting all your teeth done, but like the emotions begin before that. So I feel like a lot of your emotions when you're going through your extractions and your denture process, a lot of those emotions are being brought with you from your past and your past experiences. So for me, my first experiences with like dentists in childhood were not pleasant, and I had some traumatic events happen where some dentists are just very strict, and like there was one that wanted me to do this fluoride and I had to swish it around in my mouth for like a while, like 30 seconds, but he was counting like so slow, like one Mississippi, like, and it was making me nauseous. So I think I spit it out and then he yelled at me and I had to do it again. So I got it back in my mouth and I literally threw up because some of it went down my throat, made me sick. He yelled at me. I remember the experience just being traumatic. My mom like ended up writing me off like at school, saying I didn't have to get the fluoride treatments at all. So all throughout childhood, I never did the fluoride treatments like with all the other kids, but I never had a cavity until I was 18, and I never had any really bad experiences other than throwing up in the office with the fluoride with the really pushy dentist. And then when I was 18, I started needing root canals, and so the dentist, they started doing a lot of work, and those root canals, they would last a while, but it was just the very beginning of dental pain and issues and, you know, trying to fix my teeth. But it wasn't long before a couple of my front teeth started to chip and broke right off. Like the teeth beside my two front teeth, they broke in half almost to the gum line. So I was forced to get a partial around age 21. And it was like a metal partial, just insurance paid for. It wasn't anything fancy. It just filled in the teeth that were missing, and it had metal attachments like in a couple places so you could always see the metal. The teeth didn't really match my other teeth. Like it probably wasn't that noticeable to other people, but it was to me. So as soon as I lost those teeth, that's when the emotional, I'd say trauma almost began, because I was young, like 21. I had just gotten married. I'm still married to that man. It's been almost 15 years. 2020, it'll be our 15-year wedding anniversary. We got married when we were 20. We'll be 35. So anyways, but in the beginning when I was young and I lost those teeth and I had to start the process to, you know, fix the ones that I was left with and get the partial, I guess you could say, well, depression, but I just felt this sense of dread. Like my life was over. I felt like they're permanent. If they're gone forever. Like those two teeth had just broken right out. And at the time when they started breaking, I didn't even know there was such a thing as a partial. I thought you would just have to go toothless or get full dentures, because this was a long time ago. So I did eventually get the partial and it was all right. And then a few years later, more of my teeth were breaking out and I ended up having to get a new partial made, and I made the choice to invest in my top teeth and I got them all root canaled and crowned, thinking, you know, that'll take care of all the pain. There's no nerves left and it should make them cosmetically pleasing. But throughout the years leading up to that decision to invest in my top teeth, my confidence was shot. Like I did not feel the same way as I did before my teeth had started falling out. Like when I was 18 and 19 and getting married and going to college and high school or whatever, I never had to worry about my teeth and how they looked, other than I had one that had grown in smaller than all the rest because I got hurt as a baby and it split the root all the way up. So when it grew out, it was just a little tiny adult tooth. And so I didn't really like that. My smile was never symmetrical, but it was my smile and I was used to it. And now looking back at pictures of my wedding day, I was like thinking, my goodness, like my teeth looked really amazing. It's really crazy to me that they just went from that to complete crap within a year or two. And you know, there's things that could have contributed to that, I guess. And I'll probably talk about all that in a later video because that's like a totally different subject. But just for the purpose of like explaining emotions for either people that are about to go through it, currently going through it, or someone that is just watching someone else go through it, I'm going to try to explain the emotions behind losing your teeth at a young age. Not even necessarily as a girl, but just as a young person. but I'm sure there's things I'll mention that are like mostly related to girls or whatever. So obviously as a girl, you know, your face is a big deal. Your teeth are a big deal. Your teeth, everyone says, are a reflection of your health, and it's like the first thing someone notices about you. So when I'm missing teeth or had broken teeth, I stopped smiling. I hardly would talk. I would even in my couple of my first videos on this channel, I was talking like this. I was talking a lot different. It was harder to talk loud when you're talking like this. I was always trying to talk so that you wouldn't see my lower teeth that were missing, and it's like a subconscious habit. You're stuck with that. There were many months that I went without any partials when my teeth would break, and I'd have to wait for the new partial or wait for a root canal and a crown or whatever. So I would just have to function with missing teeth. And I remember going to my CNA classes. This was a while ago, but I went to my CNA classes with the teeth next to my top teeth missing, and it was like an 8-week program. And believe it or not, I couldn't believe this, but everyone in that class, when I did get them all, I got my new partial and I started talking normally, people were like, oh my God, what happened? Like, I never even knew you were missing your teeth. That's how much I hid it. And that's how much people can hide it sometimes. You stop smiling, you stop using your mouth, you stop laughing, you stop talking and expressively, you stop looking at people like directly, like eye contact, and it ruins everything. It's like a precursor to any situation that you go into when you meet a new person, or you go in to see a doctor for the first time, or just people you see on a regular basis. It's always on our mind, always, that our teeth are jacked up or missing or messed up. That thought never leaves my mind. I mean, not now, but back then, I'm saying. So like going into deciding to have all your teeth out and removed at somewhat of a young age, you're carrying with it all the emotions and feelings that you've had from all the years prior to, and it becomes very deeply rooted in you as a person, I feel like, because the longer you can't smile, or you tell yourself you can't smile, or the longer you don't laugh, and the longer you get used to bare minimum movements of your mouth, it's just that much harder to erase it and forget about it. And it becomes that much more of a reality mentally, even if it's more mental than physical. Even once you get your teeth fixed, sometimes it's hard to undo the training that you've trained yourself to do to hide your teeth. And then not even to mention, like, a lot of times when you get your teeth pulled and you get your dentures and they're either temporary or even if they're permanent or whatever, a lot of times they aren't even what you wanted. A lot of times they come out screwed up. And like in my case, when I got these done, I couldn't shut my jaw for like 2 weeks, and that was pretty traumatizing at the time. I was freaking out, like just freaking out. It doesn't even matter if it was temporary, because when this is happening, you don't know how long it's going to go. So when I have broken teeth, I don't know how long that's going to last. And you know, even when they would fix some of them and crown them, sometimes the crowns just break right off and you're back to square one with a big open, you know, spot in your mouth. So yeah, I am just saying, like, all the things you go through before your extractions, you're going to end up dealing with again once you have your extractions. You know, things you thought were gone, things you thought you got over maybe. Because for me, when I made the decision to just go ahead and have all my teeth pulled, I felt like I was putting some things to rest. Like, I'm not going to let this hold me back anymore. It holds you back. It makes you not be able to be yourself, because you're just so... It's not even like you're afraid of other people judging you. I feel like you judge yourself. Like, I mentally beat myself up over this for so many years, all the time. Even when I had the root canals and crowns and a new partial that looked pretty good, I still didn't feel like... I don't know, like, I held it against myself. Like, I felt like, yeah, I can smile, yeah, I have teeth, but they look, you know, they're not all mine. Half of them are fake, half of them are missing. If I take the partial out, I got gaps everywhere. Like, I just didn't have a good mentality about it, and I was never very vocal about it, to the point where, like, I just had this done about 5 weeks ago. I had all my teeth pulled, and I got snap-in dentures on mini implants, and literally, like, so many people on my friends on my Facebook, like people that see me a lot, they did not even know that I needed dentures. They didn't know the shape of my teeth or the condition of them. But in my head, I thought it was obvious to everybody. I thought everyone always noticed it. Like, the first thing they'd see is that I'm missing some teeth and that they're breaking, and, you know, why is that? And she must not take care of herself. she must be, you know, poor hygiene, never brushes her teeth. Like, these are things that go on in your head that you think other people are thinking, but you're also like attacking yourself, almost making yourself feel worse. And especially like things kind of change once you get a plan in place. Like, once I decided I was going to have my teeth pulled and I was getting dentures, either snap-ins or traditional, I was to the point where I didn't want to keep spending money to try to fix what I had. I was to the point where I hated what I had. I just hated it because it's not a permanent fix for me. My teeth, it's like, not like, it's almost like cancer. It spreads. Like, once I have a bad tooth or an infection, it just goes rampant in my mouth. And my teeth, they're just not good teeth. That's what I was told. Like, they're weak, they're brittle, and I can't make them healthy again. There's only so much you can do once they get to a certain point of destruction. But I also feel like at some points you feel like giving up because you feel like either you can't afford to get them fixed, or you can't handle the pain, or you can't find a dentist that will do what you need done, or you start feeling like, that's it. This is just it. This is my reality. So just get used to it. And I became very complacent for a while and years where I just I wasn't spending time even just educating myself on my options for my teeth. I wasn't really talking about it with anybody. I was pushing my feelings down inside. I was hiding my smile, my laugh. I couldn't even play certain games with my kids, like the one where you put stuff in makes your teeth show and it looks really funny. My kids wanted to play that game so bad, and I was like, I can't play that, guys, because, you know, mommy's not happy with her teeth and that would be embarrassing for me. And I feel like, man, I feel like it's a lot of wasted time. I feel so bad for people that haven't been able to get their teeth fixed. I really do, because I know what it's like. You're just trapped in this situation that you can't really fix overnight, and you can't even always fix it ever. Some people can't. I mean, although I will say this, if your teeth are really breaking out, falling out, infected, and hurting all the time, I strongly recommend just looking into dentures, traditional ones, snap-in ones, whatever kind. I was so afraid to get dentures because I felt like once my teeth were gone, my face will shrivel up. It's going to age me 10 years. I'm going to look old. Then everyone's going to know that I had my teeth pulled. Everyone's going to think the worst. Everyone's going to be like, you know, I just so afraid of what people would perceive me as, like, even in just day-to-day life. You know, first impressions are a big deal. And I feel like it makes people react to you differently when you're talking with your mouth less open and less expressive, and you can't smile as much. And I think I was less assertive, I was less confident. When you're less confident, you're less able to navigate your way through a situation like dentures and getting new teeth done, because you have to be assertive and you have to feel like you deserve the result you're seeking. And when you have bad, low self-confidence and your face is falling apart, or so you feel like, you know, among other health issues, I mean, it's not just teeth, you know, there's a lot of things going on with everybody that could be related to your teeth or causing them to get worse or making it harder for them to, you know, heal and look good or whatever. So among all the other issues going on when it comes to your teeth, it's like one of those things, you know, you can't hide it from people. They're going to notice it, and it will be your first impression of people when you meet them. Just your energy that you represent when you meet people. And it's only been 5 weeks for me, but I've been making a conscious effort now to look people in the eyes, smile when I see people, like not like that anymore. Like, I really smile. And my smile's not perfect. Mine are going to be remade, but it's a hell of a lot better than it was before. I tell you what. And honestly, even smiles that aren't like denture smiles, even smiles with your real teeth are better than no smile. I just try to encourage people to work up the confidence to know that just because you're in this situation and you need either your teeth all pulled or several pulled, or you're missing a few or this or that, there are people all over the world with a similar situation, all different ages, all different reasons. Like, you know, it's a human issue. We're all human. Like, nobody's freaking perfect. Like, most people are going to have to get at least one tooth pulled in their lifetime. And the chances of that, the chances of needing front teeth pulled is just as high as the back, I would assume. Like, you know, you just can't predict that. You don't know. So there should be some human compassion among people, just to other people that are going through it. Dental pain is no freaking joke. All the experiences that I've had, every time I would go to get extractions or get work done when I wouldn't have enough Novocaine, and I would just end up feeling you know, the way I was perceiving my treatment, I felt like at certain times with certain dentists, I was treated like a piece of crap because my teeth were so poor. So that just led me to even feel more like a piece of crap, I guess. Like, and you internalize it. Like, when people treat you like that, especially professional people that are in the medical industry, and it happens repeatedly over and over again, it starts to take a toll on you, and it starts to make you not trust that industry. So for me with dentists, I have not had the best experiences. I had one amazing dentist who did all my upper work 8 years ago, and she relocated to a different city. So she made sure she finished my whole case before she relocated, and I could never thank her enough. Her name is Dr. Jin, and she's like the best dentist I know. But anyway, she restored my confidence so much when I had the work done 8 years ago. And for a long time, many years, I really didn't have to think twice about my teeth. I had an upper partialist, take it out to clean, put it back in. I slept in it. Like, I just went about my day, my business, my life, whatever, until the lowers start breaking out one by one. And I never had a lower partial that fit, and I never fought for that to fit right. I never, like, felt comfortable. Like, I always felt like I was coming off like an asshole at the doctor. I felt like I was being treated and looked at like a piece of shit. So that put me a little bit on the defensive sometimes, and it would just make me more standoffish, skittish, and scared. And there's some dentists that shouldn't be dentists. There are some people working in that industry that shouldn't be, because there are ways to handle anxiety and nervous patients without making them feel worse. And I feel like for every time I had a traumatic experience where the dentist says, hold your hand up if it hurts and I'll stop, for every time that I held my hand up and they didn't freaking stop, it just breaks my trust more and more and more. And then it makes you wonder, like, do I not deserve the same treatment as someone else? Do I not deserve the pain relief? Like, do I really, they expect me to sit here and suffer? Like, there's been dentists who have denied me antibiotics just because they don't agree with being on them long-term for teeth. Even though it would have been like 6 months, but I had an active infection in my face up here. And that was one reason. That was the reason I was on antibiotics. And then I had another active infection on one of the lower ones that I was waiting for an appointment with for my extractions. And the dentist that refused to give me more antibiotics, that was my dentist, and it was his office that was supposed to x-ray my records over to the surgeon so I could be sedated with my insurance to have the teeth pulled. There was like 4 teeth to get pulled before. This was a few months before I got all my extractions and dentures. So my dentist had to send my x-rays and records to the oral surgeon so they could make my appointment, and I had to pay money, like $75 to reserve the appointment. And my dentist didn't bother to send my records for several freaking weeks. And so by the time they did, I had to be pushed back like 3 months from the time I would have been able to have those extracted. So when I went back in and said, look, I'm going to need more antibiotics now because now I have to wait like 3 or 4 months and this is infected and really painful. And he said, well, you're going to have to go to a doctor or the hospital, like the ER, because I am not giving you antibiotics. I do not agree with you being on them for long term like that. They could be abused. It's not right. So yeah, here I am sitting in the dentist chair at my dentist appointment for my infected tooth, and I'm literally being told to go to the ER or go to my doctor for an infected tooth. So I ended up, I got kicked out of that office for like the 3rd time. I didn't even do anything that crazy. I just said exactly what I like, probably swore, but I was upset. Like, you know, you have got to be freaking kidding me. Literally, I'm sitting here in front of a dentist and he's refusing to give me antibiotics that would help get me through the summer and at least be able to function, just because he just doesn't agree with long-term antibiotics. Not long-term, it would be short-term. And it was their fault that I had to wait. But I survived, obviously. I had found a new dentist. They actually prescribed antibiotics and ibuprofen 800s right over the phone without even seeing me, because they were decent, empathetic humans. So, like I said, there are some people in the field that shouldn't be working in this field. And you don't always know what you're going to get. And it really sucks, especially if you're doing things with just insurance and you only have so many options. Sometimes you have to just put up with it at a certain dentist. The only thing I can tell people is to try to imagine yourself with perfect teeth. Try to imagine how you would react to these people. Try to imagine what kind of care you would expect and what you think you would deserve. You know, imagine if you had perfect teeth and what you would have to do to take care of them. You would do it. And it has to be the same when your teeth are falling apart and breaking and you're in pain and you need help. So it's hard to find the right help and stand up for yourself and really know what to do when you're confused in the process and you don't know where to begin. Like, you don't always know what you're doing. And sometimes it is trial and error. If you go to a dentist and they treat you like crap, look for another option. It's not worth making yourself suffer. You deserve better. And that is one thing I've had to really just try to teach and convince myself of, and let go of all the emotions and the baggage that I've carried into my current situation with this dentist. Because I do realize that I'm bringing a lot of emotional baggage from previous experiences that my dentist now has nothing to do with. But some of the reactions they give or the ways they treat you sometimes can really trigger an emotional response of all the things you've been through before. And it just really builds up. So I think it's just something to think about. And especially as a woman, like, there's just certain standards we think that we need to be held to, and there's certain ways that people treat you, and there's a lot of fear involved with getting all your teeth pulled. I really was afraid my whole face was going to just shrivel up and age me 10 to 15 years, and I probably do look a lot different when I don't have my teeth in, but it's like, I mean, it's still me. This is me. It's just a new variety of myself. I feel so much healthier and happier now that I don't have to see a regular dentist. I don't have to see that mean one ever again now. I have implants, so you know, I had to try to do what was best for me. And for me, the best thing to do was to get this all done in one shot, one sitting, one day, done. I wasn't prepared though, like I have said before, I was not prepared for things to come out less than perfect. I really just assumed dentures are fake teeth. Like, you know, how complicated could that be? Like, they just make them perfect, you know, and then just put them in. But it's not really that easy. You do still have to be patient, and you do still have to be able to interact with a dentist, even if you have serious trust issues. You know, I have to be able to talk to this dentist, interact with him, even though it's hard for me to read sometimes. Like, I pick up on vibes from people a lot, and I trust my instincts, which is why I went with Dr. Shatkins. And he's got a way of being very firm, direct, but encouraging. Like, you know, he'll make me stop hyperventilating in a very firm and stern way. But that's what I need. Like, I need that voice in my head not to baby me and not to guilt trip me and not to act like, oh my God, you can't handle this. What is wrong with you? Just stop crying. Like, I have literally had dentists extracting my teeth while I'm sedated with my children in the waiting room with my mom. And I woke up when I was supposed to be asleep. I wake up during surgery and I'm screaming and hyperventilating pretty much, crying in so much unbearable pain. Because when you get a tooth pulled that's still infected and hurts, and that really hurts. The doctor was pulling my tooth while I'm waking up and literally telling me, be quiet. You don't want your kids to hear you screaming. You don't want to scare them, do you? And at that moment, I was just thinking how helpless I was and how scared I was. And it brings you back to this place in childhood when you're just really freaking helpless. Like, and you have to be able to trust somebody. If you can't trust who's around you, you have to be able to trust yourself. So sometimes I have, you know, stood up and walked out or like been kicked out of dentists because I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. There's some things I can't handle. I can't handle a dentist who looks at you and treats you like a bug, or a person, you know, dentists that don't care that you're in pain and don't stop when you tell them to stop and don't believe you. And they literally keep working on you while your tears are streaming down your face. Like, that has happened to me so many times. And yet, I mean, I've still gotten back up and went back for my appointments. I've finished every single thing I've told myself I would. Like, all the work on the top took me over a year of going every week, but I had an amazing dentist. That, it just makes all the difference in the world, you know. A caring, compassionate dentist can get you through almost anything, I'm telling you. The wrong dentist can screw you up emotionally, physically, take your money and everything. So it is a big deal. You definitely have to be able to find someone you trust to work on you. For me, because I definitely have issues. And even more, like, it's not even just, you have to convince yourself to go through the painful part of the surgery, and then you have to be prepared for your results that might not be ready right when you get out of it. And you might have to learn how to be patient and deal with your insecurities some more, and your self-consciousness, and having to explain to people what's going on and wondering if they're sick of hearing about it, and wondering what other people notice, you know, and the things that you notice about yourself are probably not as noticeable by other people. Like, you can pick yourself apart all day, but people, just believe what people tell you. If people say you look great, believe them. People are going to tell you if you look like crap. Trust me on that too, because they will. You know, and you gotta also at the same time, like if you're investing in a new smile or if you're getting dentures or anything, it doesn't matter if insurance pays for it or you pay for it. They should be made with the same effort as each other. It shouldn't matter. Like, someone's getting paid. Someone's paying for them. They should be made right. If yours are made wrong and they don't fit and you can't wear them, you definitely have to stand up for yourself. You have got to make sure you can wear them. You got to make sure they're what you want. Sometimes you have to compromise a little bit, but it's not like they're just giving these out for free. Like, we don't just accept what we're given all the time. Like, there could be some adjustments needed. So your confidence has to be good enough to know that you're going to stand up for yourself if they don't come out right. And you also have to try to prepare yourself mentally for the possibility that things are going to come out the complete opposite of what you wanted. For example, I had a boob job a year ago. There's a possibility that you're going to get your breasts done and they're going to have capsular contracture or an infection, or the stitches could pop open, the implants could rupture, one could and the other not. You could be left with no boobs, you could be left with one. That really happens to people, and no one wants to think about the worst outcome possible, but it's something I recommend preparing yourself for, and with dentures especially, because sometimes things happen where you're not going to be able to wear your new teeth, and they're going to either have to remake them and leave you with none, or, you know, some people have been forced to accept teeth that they can't really function very well with, and then it's a whole nother can of worms trying to adjust them to fit right. So your emotions are a big part of this physical experience, getting your teeth done. The physical pain is nothing compared to what you go through emotionally. Like, the day of surgery, I was all nerves, scared and excited. And when I got out of surgery and saw that it wasn't, you know, how I was hoping, I freaked out a little. It was depressing. And I had many days where I just felt like, I'm not worth all this trouble. Like, why am I going through this? Why am I, like, insisting on better? And, like, I start feeling like I just don't deserve it and I'm being too picky. And then I start to think they think I'm just being overly picky and, like, dramatic or something. I don't know why I feel that way, but those are emotions. You know, everyone has something in their head all the time, and you have to be conscientious of that. And when it's your own mouth being worked on, you got to trust yourself, and you got to really do some cleaning up of the past emotional issues if you have any. You know, I mean, you can't expect someone else to fix that. It's only what you can fix. I still have to go to the dentist. I still have to have procedures done. I have to make myself get through it, and I have to find a way to do it and stay healthy and happy, because I'm not trying to spend the rest of my life miserable and not smiling. Like, you know, a lot of people say, well, they don't want to get dentures at a young age because we're so young, but if you think about it, if you're young and your teeth are all halfway missing anyways, or going bad, or they hurt, you're wasting a lot of your life anyways by not fixing it and taking care of it if you can. Like, I know for me, I put this off for a while. I could have got dentures 10 years ago, and I put it off this long, and I was lucky enough to have teeth that I was okay with, but I feel like if I would have waited any longer, I would have been wasting time with my life, and I'm past that time. I'm to the point now where I just want to have, I don't care if they're fake or not, but my teeth have to be good enough so that I can be who I am, and I can feel comfortable with myself, so I can talk to people, I can smile, I can laugh, and enjoy my life. Like, there's so many other problems in life. The last thing we should have to worry about is our teeth and our smile, but it's such a big part of us and our emotions. Like, there's literal chemicals that are released when you laugh and smile for a reason. So if you can't do that out in public, you got to try to do that yourself. Just do it in your own room, in your own time. Put some funny movies on, read stuff that makes you smile. Just do it for yourself, you know, part of taking care of yourself. But anyways, there's a lot of other emotions that go on after you have this done that are probably not as expected, but a lot of it does have to do with what you felt like before. So I'm going to end it there because I've been really rambling. I just wanted to get this out there, and hopefully it's a little bit, like, what's the word? Hopefully it gives a little insight, I guess. But at least for me, this is my experience with everything. And it is kind of, it's important. It's a big thing to talk about. People you don't always think about what's going on in someone's head, like how they feel with their bad teeth. people with bad teeth know they have bad teeth and they feel like shit. So it's not like people just walk around like that, like, oh, who cares? Like, I mean, some people do, but a lot of people care a lot. And they need to be reminded of how beautiful they are, despite whatever's going on in your teeth. You know, it shouldn't be all based on that, but your teeth are a big deal, and I don't have any regrets. I'm so glad I did this. I feel a lot better already. Like, obviously, I feel so much better. I knew I would feel better. I just knew it. It was just a matter of getting it done, pushing myself to do it, getting over that fear, and being able to trust one more dentist one time. Just really had to follow my instincts on this, because that surgery could have been extremely traumatic, and it was a little bit, but not as bad as it could have been, because my dentist was amazing and how he handled me that day of surgery. So anyways, that is it for now. Those are some of my emotions that I've dealt with in the past and, you know, dealing with now, so that I can move into the future with a new attitude and be happy and positive and try to spread the love and joy. But anyways, I thank you guys for watching, and I will be back with some more videos soon, I'm sure, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day.